Things have been pretty daunting recently, and I know a lot of folks are stressed, scared, frustrated, and they want to make change. Thankfully, you don't have to come to DC to visit your representative or your senator. You can go to their home office in your district and speak with a member of their staff. If you've never done that before, that can be kind of daunting. But thankfully, we are here to provide you with some instruction on how to prepare for a successful visit with your representative and senator in their home office. My name is Chelsea. I'm with Network Lobby for Catholic Social Justice, and I'm here to give you a crash course. We know that one of the most effective ways to influence your member of Congress, your representative or senator, is to have an in person visit with them as a constituent. That's you. The job of your representative or senator is to write, vote, and pass legislation or bills. These bills can influence everything from public school funding to how clean your drinking water needs to be to who gets tax cuts and who pays more taxes. To keep their job, your representative or your senator needs the people that they represent to like what they do. And that's where you come in. Going to their office is going to allow you to provide feedback on what they're doing and what you think of it. Your feedback, I promise you, it's powerful and it can influence your elected officials. So they actually work for us and our communities instead of the billionaires who want to take our freedoms, endanger our families, and control our futures. In my role at Network, one of the things I get to do is take groups of students to Capitol Hill to do lobby visits. And one of the things the students always ask is what I'm sharing with a staff member actually going to reach my congressperson? The answer is yes, it will. The job of the staffer, whether they are in your representative or senator's home office in district or on Capitol Hill, is to communicate your feedback to their boss. And we know that congressional staffers really do want to hear your feedback. They need it. In a survey of congressional staffers, 91% said that more information from constituents about the impact of bills on their communities would be really helpful. But only 9% of these congressional staffers say they regularly get this feedback. When you're preparing for your visit to the office, remember that you do not need to be a policy expert to talk to staffers. What's important is that you use your voice, your authentic voice, and share stories. That is what is important to communicate to staffers. That's what they want to hear. You don't need to get caught up in any technical details. You don't need to know the difference between Medicaid, per capita caps, and block grants. That's totally fine. What you need to share is your authentic voice and stories. You're going to want to include a moral message, whether you want to come at this from a faith perspective or background, or even just the values that you were raised with and still hold dear today. That's great. This will resonate with a wide range of people. Let's talk a little bit about tone for when you're actually in the meeting. The purpose of the meeting is to build a relationship with the office staffer and ultimately with your congressperson. So we want to go about this the right way. First, if they ask you a question and you don't know the answer, it would not be a great idea to make something up. Just say that you don't know and that you will get back to them later via email. They always appreciate follow-up via email after the visit. Second, try to avoid being directly confrontational, even if you really don't agree with the office's perspective. This can be challenging, but we all know that being directly confrontational leads to people shutting down and getting defensive and is not conducive to a good conversation. Okay, we just talked about tone for when you're actually in the meeting. Let's now talk about the logistics of planning the meeting itself. The first thing I recommend you do is head over to the link in our bio and find the lobby visit planning sheet. This is a great tool to use as you prepare for your visit. I'd also recommend that one of the first things you do is think about why you are going to this meeting. Why is it that these policies or this bill is important to you? Second, do some research on what the member of Congress perspective on this might be. Where might their perspective have come from? This is interesting to find out, or interesting to even ask about when you're in the meeting. If you're looking for reliable information or informed Catholic perspectives on the issues of the bill that you're going to be talking to the staff member about, head on over to our website at Network Lobby to find our talking points and leave behind documents. Finally, if you're taking family, friends, or just a group in general, make sure you plan for everyone's roles in the meeting. This is a great opportunity to make sure that everyone knows exactly what they're going to say and when. I always recommend that people practice a lot, role play this meeting, really invite a friend over, assign them to the role of a staff member. It will ease your pre-meeting jitters and make sure you're confident on the day of the meeting. When the day of your meeting arrives and you're going on your actual lobby visit, I like to remember that there are 3 phases to the meeting itself. There's the arrival, there's the actual meeting, and then there's the follow-up. For the arrival, I'd like to recommend to arrive at least 10 minutes early. If you're in a group, have one person go in and let them know that you're here and introduce the group. I'd also make sure that you use this time to silence your cell phone so they don't interrupt your meeting. When you're in the room or in the space that you're having the meeting with a staffer, I always ask the person at the beginning of the meeting how much time they have. Their days are busy and they might have 10 or 15 minutes to spend with you, or they might have more time, like 30. It will help you navigate the meeting as you go along. Keep it brief yourself when you're introducing yourself and or a group. If you're in a group, make sure you have one person introduce themselves, note that they're a constituent and share where they're from, and have everyone else just share their name. At this point, you're going to want to thank your representative or senator staffer for taking the meeting and find one thing to thank them for that you've done some research on. Maybe this is a past bit of legislation that you feel that you're aligned with. After you've thanked your representative or senator staff for maybe a piece of legislation that your congressperson voted on that you align with, or something they've done recently that you appreciate, it's time to move to the meat of your lobby visits. Now it's time to introduce your issues, sharing your personal beliefs and stories that inform your perspective and why you're making the ask you're making. Now you make your ask. Be clear, be firm. Say something like, vote no on any budget reconciliation plan that makes drastic cuts to Medicaid and SNAP to pay for tax cuts for the ultra-wealthy and the detentions and deportations of immigrants. At this point, you're going to want to listen very carefully, maybe take notes, to the response from the staffer. This is the conversation part. Respond to any pushback or questions they have. Again, if you don't know an answer to their question, make sure you just follow up later. Don't make up anything on the spot. Repeat your ask after your conversation, and then share your leave behind document that you get from the network website or the link in our bio. Here are some other good things to ask the staffer before you leave the meeting. Can I have your business card? Are there any in-district sites that your member is going to be visiting in the next couple of weeks that you could attend that event? And can we take a selfie outside the office in front of your members' flags and the plaque that has their name on the door? You did your meeting. Congratulations. Let's talk follow-up. You took your photo, your selfie with the staffer. Send that back to network. Tag your representative or your senator. The offices like seeing those photos. We like seeing those photos too. Send them to us. Send a thank you email to your staffer within 24 hours of the meeting as well, following up, thanking them for the conversation, and including any bits of information that you didn't have the answer to in the meeting and that you said you'd follow up on. Keep in touch with network to see how the legislation that you lobbied for plays out, and consider taking your advocacy a step further by joining one of our advocates teams, writing a letter to the editor, or coming to one of our upcoming webinars. Thanks for watching. If you made it this far in the video, click the link in our bio to follow us on social media and to access our website and any resources I mentioned in this training. Good luck on those lobby visits. We can't wait to hear how they turn out.